Liverpool said no to Semenyo, a centre-back list, and Alexis McAllister and Real Madrid links have come up once again in recent days. So, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Reds. Welcome to Talking Reds, where we bring the latest Liverpool news and transfer news and much, much more. As I've just said there have been reports about Semenyo in the summer, McAllister and Real Madrid links. And we're also going to discuss the fitness updates, injury updates, and also the international break as a whole as well, because it has been a successful international break for Liverpool players specifically. However, can we see them replicate that in their club football back again on Sunday against Manchester United? So welcome in, everyone. Make sure you do hit that like button if you're watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, and also get your comments in, get your chat in the live chat, and get your opinions in on the breaking news. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Bourbon Cop. I hope you're well this morning. Let's get into it then, guys. Let's get into it. Semenyo. So a report just yesterday came out from Sam Dean, a reporter for Daily Telegraph, saying that there are important figures at Liverpool who believed Antoine Semenyo would have been an ideal signing for the club last summer. But obviously the club didn't end up going for that move. And we spoke about the other day about Luis Diaz leaving it. It wasn't a mistake to let Luis Diaz go, because Luis Diaz wanted to leave. Him had flirted. They were flirting around Barcelona for a couple of years, weren't they? But he did eventually leave in the summer. However, what the mistake was not replacing Luis Diaz, especially the fact that Rio Angamoa and Federico Chiesa is not being played enough for me to justify not replacing Luis Diaz. Would Semenyo being that ideal replacement for Luis Diaz? Because the season he's having so far is telling us, was it a mistake not to get that over the line? Obviously, there were figures at Liverpool, players, people in the back room wanting Antoine Semenyo to come to Liverpool. That would have been an ideal signing for the club last summer. But there must be a reason why Liverpool didn't go ahead. Is that because they had so much transfer business elsewhere? Obviously, we've got two full-backs in and a cam and two strikers and a centre-back. Is it because we did so much transfer business we didn't want to do any more? Was a winger put to the side for this season, potentially? Same with the DM for me. Was it put to the side and maybe go back again next year for a winger? For me, I understand that to a certain extent. Obviously, it wasn't the end of the world not replacing Luis Diaz. If we use Rio Angamoa and Federico Chiesa more, then for me, it's not the end of the world letting go Luis Diaz. It's just the fact that we're not using them. If you could only choose one in relation to Semenyo or Elise, which one would you prefer? Right now, Brevin cop-out would be Elise. I think Elise is my number one at the moment, but I can't argue with Semenyo. Semenyo's a brilliant player. We spoke about Semenyo last season. In fact, the three players we spoke about last season for wingers were Semenyo, Kudus, and Mbeumo. I think they were the three we all spoke about on here. Elise wasn't even an option for me last summer. So I didn't think we'd be able to get him from Bayern Munich. Also, he's on just joined them pretty much. And he for me, wasn't like someone that, let's go get Elise, because it wasn't at that time a realistic target. But now, also, the reports are coming out regarding Michael Elise. Then for me, Elise is probably the number one for me. Like I said, but number two, if Semenyo is number two in the targets, then for me, Semenyo is a brilliant signing as well. So, what a position to be in, either Semenyo or Elise. That's a brilliant option. Two options there. But for me, number one right now, for me, if I had to choose, it would be Michael Elise. He's done it at the top level as well, Michael Elise, which is fantastic. But yeah, Antoine Semenyo is a sensational player. But I don't understand why we didn't push for him a little bit harder. Maybe even show interest in him in the summer, but it is what it is. He will be available next summer for whoever wants to buy him. Is it us? Is it Arsenal? I think there'll be a few clubs after Antoine Semenyo next season, because of the season that he's already having. I think he'll continue this season. I think he's such a good player. Could play both sides of the pitch. Cody Gakpo needs competition. Salah, obviously, we've spoken about Salah before, and he is potentially leaving in a couple of years. So Semenyo would be that sort of player. The one I really want to get was Kvaratskhelia last January, and we didn't get him. For me, I don't understand. I can't understand why especially when Nunes could have left. We rejected a bid for Darwin Nunes. Was it for 80 million, something like that? We rejected a bid for Darwin Nunes, and Kvaratskhelia were there. For me, a straight Nunes out, Kvaratskhelia in would have been perfect last January. Because what did Nunes offer us then for the rest of the season that Kvaratskhelia wouldn't have offered us? I think it made absolute sense at that point to get rid of Darwin Nunes to bring Kvaratskhelia, but it is what it is, and we missed out on Kvaratskhelia, and PSG got a superstar in the hands. But for me, I said my number one right now would be Michael Olise. After that, if he's not attainable, then Semenyo should absolutely be one that we should be looking at. I did like Kudus. I liked Kudus before when a couple of seasons ago we were linked with Kudus, and I liked Kudus because Kudus is I said it many times. Kudus is a game changer, and I think when Tottenham got him, I thought, wow, what a signing Tottenham got there, and it's proved correctly. Really, I think he's started well at Tottenham, but Semenyo right now, the way he's playing, and if he continues playing like this for the rest of the season, he's going to have a lot of clubs after him. And not only that, Bournemouth won't sell him for cheap because of that. Because it'd be so wanted, Bournemouth could easily stick a £60, £70 million price tag on him, and no one would bat an eyelid because at the end of the day, he's playing at a very extreme level at the moment. You saw him against us. Semenyo ripped us apart that day. First game of the season. Hi, Dave. Do you think McAllister will be tempted by Madrid, or will he stay with us? Well, I'll go over that actually. I'll go over that briefly right now, John. It's only a small bit of news about McAllister and Real Madrid. So, according to Defensa Central, which is obviously an outlet in Madrid, Real Madrid have cooled their previous interest in Alexis McAllister, with Bernabeu Chiefs now doubting him after being unimpressed with his recent performances. Take that with not even a pinch of salt. Take that with a massive handful of salt. I doubt that report is true, if I'm honest. I doubt that they've cooled previous interest in Alexis McAllister. I think Real Madrid will always be interested in Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister, he's had a few bad games, but no one's going to be put off by a few bad games this season. Last season, he was our best midfielder. Last season, he was one of the best midfielders in world football. In fact, he made the top 30 in the Ballon d'Or. Didn't he get 23rd or something like that in the Ballon d'Or list? So that interest from Real Madrid probably hasn't cooled. Would Alexis McAllister be tempted by Real Madrid? Potentially. And when Liverpool do need a DM, it's a shame. I'm hoping McAllister does hit his form again. I think he will once he gets his fitness back up to scratch. I think he'll hit the form again. And for me, I want Alexis McAllister to stay here for the rest of his career. But at the end of the day, when Real Madrid come knocking, it wouldn't surprise me if Alexis McAllister did want to go. He has been very respectful in the past. Said he's happy with staying at Liverpool. Liverpool's his club. He's come out and said that himself. But in future, plans change. At the end of the day, if he stays here for another couple of years and still plays the way he can play, then I'm happy. No, I've said it many times. Even in summer, I said it. No one is obliged to stay at Liverpool for the rest of their career. I would love him to do so, but no one's obliged to do that. If he wants to go to Real Madrid in a couple of years' time, then so be it. As long as we get the money for him, we've got a good amount of money for him. I'm talking at least £80 million for Alexis McAllister, maybe more. Then I wish him well. But right now, I think he's happy being at Liverpool, and I think we need to keep him as much as we can. But yeah, regarding Semenyo, I think he will be available next summer for whoever wants to buy him. But like I said, there's going to be many, many clubs after Antoine Semenyo. And the price, at least 70 million, at least. Depending on when his contract runs out as well. When does Semenyo's contract run out? Let's have a quick gander at that, because I don't know that. And I know they were trying to tie him down to a new contract. So it wouldn't surprise me if it did actually run out. Oh, well, he's only just signed a new contract. What are they on about then? He's only just signed a new contract, Semenyo, on the 1st of July. So I don't know what the report the other day about the new contract was with a release clause. So his contract runs out in 2030. So yeah, they ain't accepting less than 70 million for Semenyo if his contract runs out in 2030. Absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. And you know, and rightly so, because at the end of the day, he's one of the best wingers in the league at the moment. So it is what it is. It's going to go on to the centre back news. So, and this is another pinch of salt as well, because it is from caught offside, which isn't particularly reliable. But I have seen many reports regarding individuals of this list. So there is a 6-man short list for Liverpool to bring in a centre back if Marc Guehi decides to not move to Liverpool. So if we're thinking about Marc Guehi not moving to Liverpool as well, tells you everything we need to know about that, because again, we've spoken about it on this channel before. Guehi will have many clubs after him in the summer, and he's going for free. So one of the top centre backs in the league, in the Premier League, is going for free at the end of the summer, as well as Konate, obviously. So there's going to be many clubs interested in that. And Liverpool have a battle on their hands now. Rather than a straight fight at Guehi, which they had in summer, they now have a battle on hands to get their man. But we have got a 6-man shortlist in the event that Guehi decides against the move to Liverpool. So Morello is in it, Lukeba, Upamecano, Arujo, Botman, and Branthwaite. So we have been previously linked to Branthwaite. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's on the list, if we have a list. Botman, we were linked to him before he went to Newcastle. I can't see that happening. His injuries as well, not really helping. Arujo, we were linked to him before he went to Barcelona. In fact, we've been linked to him since he's been at Barcelona as well, actually. So Arujo has been linked before. Upamecano has been recently linked. Lekeba's been linked before. The only one we really weren't being linked with before is probably Murillo at Forest. But I can understand that link as well, because obviously Forest, if they continue to play the way they are, then Murillo would certainly be probably an interesting one to look at, because he's been sensational since joining them. But yeah, it's quite clear now. I think it's quite clear that Liverpool are going for a centre back, at least one centre back next summer. Well, obviously with the Guehi thing, but I think we'll go for 2. And I think we are now, with the reports linked with so many centre backs, and also the Guehi thing, I think that won't go away. I think we'll try to get Guehi again, obviously, but I think what I'm seeing from the reports is that it seems like we're preparing for Konate to leave, because we're getting linked with so many centre backs: Schlotterbeck, Upamecano, and this list here now is just read out there: Branthwaite, Botman, Arujo, Lukeba, and Murillo. Linked with so many centre backs, I can imagine it now that we're expecting Konate to leave. There was a report yesterday that Liverpool are getting a feeling that Real Madrid are getting more confident with it. So, yeah. And if Konate does leave, then we need 2 centre backs for me. We need 2 centre backs. And again, we don't know how Leon is going to react, bounce back from his injury as well. Hopefully he does come back fantastically the way he did against Southampton. I think he will do. But hopefully it doesn't affect him long term. I don't think it will, because I think he's a highly rated youngster. He's got plenty of years on his hands. He's only a young lad, so he's got plenty of years to ensure his development's right. So, but I still think we need 2 centre backs regardless next season. We spoke about it yesterday. One in January, one in summer would be perfect for me. Someone like a Murillo or a Schlotterbeck in January, then get Guehi in summer, and then that's, for me, that's all we need for centre back, for the centre back area. Gomez will be leaving at the end of next season, I believe. I think his contract runs out at the end of next season. So again, we need to look at that as well. So potentially maybe a centre back that can cover both sides and cover maybe right back and left back as well. But yeah, which one out of the list there, guys, in the chat? Which one would you take at Liverpool? So Murillo, Lukeba, Upamecano, Arujo, Botman, and Branthwaite. I do like Jared Branthwaite. How we would get him from Everton, I couldn't tell you. But I think he's a sensational player. I think he has been a sensational player. Botman, I'm a big fan of Botman, but again, the injuries don't help. He was brilliant before he went to Newcastle. He was one of the upcoming talents in world football in a centre-back position. Quite a few teams wanted him. Arujo is, again, another young centre-back, bags of potential. But we've been previously linked to him as well. So it'd be interesting on that. This 6-man list here, Schlotterbeck's not on it, which is interesting, because we saw the the links yesterday to Schlotterbeck, which were quite more reliable links to Schlotterbeck, but on here is not on the 6-man list, which is very, very interesting for me. I think Schlotterbeck, for me, is probably our number 2 target behind Marc Guehi. But it is what it is. If we've got to sign at least 2 centre-backs for me for next summer. If Konate stays, then it's 1 centre-back. I'm happy with 1 centre-back. But if Konate goes, which is looking right now, the likely outcome, then we need 2 centre-backs. Have you heard any updates on the injury front? So here we go. Brovin Copite. So there is news on Ryan Gravenberch. So Ryan Gravenberch was substituted early for Holland the other night, and he spoke about it. He said it was partly fitness related. The season is long, so it's precaution. I'm feeling good, and I have the coach's confidence. But then we do have an update this morning or yesterday regarding Ryan Gravenberch. He will be assessed. Ryan Gravenberch will be assessed after being replaced at half-time in Netherlands' victory over Finland on Sunday. Ronald Koeman explained that Gravenberch had been experiencing hamstring discomfort. And that is according to James Pearce. If Ryan Gravenberch is injured, we're fucked. Because we're talking about the system, right? We're talking about how the system and the tactics have been not amazing this season, and we've not been playing well at all. And Gravenberch is the only one, for me, that can properly fix that to an extent. We need to go back to that system that we had last year. We can still play 4-2-3-1, but we need when we've got 4-2-3-1, got Verts on the pitch, we need a solid player that can play at number 6. Anyone that knows me on this channel knows that I don't think Gravenberch is a 6. He's not a 6. He's a number 8. He's a box-to-box player. However, he's the only one that can play that role in our squad to a level. So when we're struggling system-wise, we're struggling with tactics, Ryan Gravenberch is absolutely key if we want to move forward. He's absolutely key if we want to get the best out of Florian Wirtz, get the best out of McAllister, Szoboszlai. He's absolutely key if we want our system to work for me. So him being injured would be a disaster. And I'm not painting I'm not painting around it. I'm not beating around the bush. It would be a disaster if he got injured for a length of time. Absolute disaster. This is why I need a competition, because he's continuing to run into the ground. Ryan Gravenberch has been heavily relied on in that position, and is not getting. He's played every single minute. I'm glad he got brought off at half time. If it is precaution, whatever, I'm glad he got brought off at half time, so he doesn't need to play 90 minutes constantly. If Gravenberch is out, even Sunday, I know it's Manchester United. I know they're poor at the moment, they're crap at the moment, but in Manchester United, Gravenberch is key to these games. Absolutely key in the way we play football. So he said he's happy. He said he feels fine, but according to this report, that he's been experiencing hamstring discomfort, and I think it'll probably be like Friday morning when you'll hear more about Gravenberch when Arne Slot gets asked in the press conference. I hope he's not out of this Sunday for number 1, and if he's just out of this Sunday, I hope he's not even out longer, because we can't lose Gravenberch. We can't. Not in how important it is. A bit of a cop-out said here, my personal choices would be Guehi, Schlotterbeck, but if unattainable, I would like to either Braunthwaite or Botman. I do like Botman. I like Botman a lot. It's just his injury worries. Braunthwaite is a very good player for me, but I think Guehi and Schlotterbeck would be the top 2 for me, I think, as well. Hi, Damon. Between 2 players, who would you want? Very similar players, really. I've seen Semenyo more with him playing in this Premier, but I'm not happy with anyone of them. But I'm happy with any one of them. Who else, Mark? Between 2 players, which is the second player? I presume. I don't know who you're on about, actually, because Elise has played in the Premier League as well. I would have presumed it was Elise you're talking about there, but he's played in the Premier League as well. Matt, who was the other player that you're on about there with Semenyo? Between 2 players, which Semenyo and who else? I presume it's Elise, but if it is Elise, then he's played in the Premier League as well. So He does have that on his side as well. You have to be careful with hamstring injuries. I hope the medical staff make the right call. Yeah, I think this week for me, if it's an hamstring injury right now, if it's an hamstring injury, I think he's out for Sunday at least. I think he's out for Sunday because this week he'd have to be doing light training. I think up to at least Friday he's got to be doing light training, and then having one, he can possibly get one proper training session in. I don't think that's enough for him to play on Sunday for me. So what he'll have training on Saturday. He could maybe get a proper training session on Saturday potentially. I think he'll be light training for most of the week, assessing the hamstring first. Then they've got to ensure they're pushing the hamstring a little bit, see if they can see how weak it is, what the problems are. I think he's out for Sunday at least. I think he'd be on the bench for Sunday now if it's an hamstring injury. Which is a shame, but it is Man United. We probably can cope without Gravenberch. It still is a massive miss. It's a massive miss. It's a massive miss, especially for Sunday. If it's any more than Sunday, then it's huge for me because I think Gravenberch is the key for us to work with this formation. It was key last season. We need a proper DM. And at least someone to allow Gravenberch to go forward, or at least someone to give Gravenberch a rest. Because Gravenberch is running into the ground, and this is what happens. Muscle injuries because you're overplaying football, and this is the problem now with football. Players are overplayed, and it's all money. We spoke about this yesterday, didn't we, guys? It's all money based. It's all money over everything else, over players' fitness. And yes, players get a lot of money. Yes, do I feel sorry for them? To an extent, yes. Why wouldn't you feel sorry for them? They're human beings at the end of the day, and people forget that. Yes, they're on a certain amount of money, 50 grand, 100 grand, 200. No, they shouldn't be on that money. Not when there's bigger problems in the world. But at the same time, they're human beings. Their fitness, their bodies need to be looked after. And simply right now, football is simply letting footballers down regarding, their health and fitness. Overplaying games, too many internationals, too many stupid tournaments. Club World Cup in the summers now, in every 4 years, which is a long tournament at the end of a season. Nations League, friendlies. It's just too much football. Extra games now in the Champions League. It's just too much. There's only so much a human body can take, and this is why muscle injuries are becoming. Muscle injuries aren't rare anyway. The muscle injuries are quite common anyway, but we're seeing it often. We're seeing it quite often. And it's players that are playing ridiculous amount of football. Even like lower leagues are playing quite a lot of football for me as well. But in the top league, this is why, squads are important, but they shouldn't. At the end of the day, I think we still need to start looking after footballs a little bit more. And that's from the top, though. That's from the top. That's like FIFA, UEFA, all that. That's who need to sort that out. We're playing way too much football. And it pisses me off that going back into the Club World Cup summer in the Club World Cup is when Sky Sports had the chance to really talk about this, they laughed at it. Because they're getting money. That's what it is. It's all about money. Sky Sports won't have serious conversations about this because it's about that. They won't do that. The people that will have serious conversations about this, the funny thing is, the people that will have serious conversations about this is you guys at home and content creators, YouTube channels, other YouTube channels like Goldbridge and people like that. They will have proper conversations about this because they care about the players more so than a Sky Sports or TNT. Because they're not getting paid directly by these. They're not getting paid by, these YouTube channels are not getting paid by the tournaments. But when there's money involved, opinions change. When there's money involved, narratives and agendas run. So that's the state of the football right now. It's all about money. It's all about greed. And we're forgetting that the footballers are human beings. We're forgetting that the footballers, and like you said, all people use an excuse, they're getting paid this much. So they can put up with injuries because they're getting paid this much. That doesn't work like that for me. People's careers could be ended over an injury for simply playing too much football. And that's simply not enough. We need to look after player welfare. Simple as that. They've got careers. No, they shouldn't have to sacrifice their whole bodies for kicking a ball. For me, just Semenyo, I will just say strong players, scores goals, he shades it. I think for me, Semenyo and Elise, for me, I'm happy with either, but I'm just swaying with Elise at the moment, just at the moment. Does the Premier League still have a winter break in January? Still hoping the players will get an opportunity to rest. They did introduce that slightly, didn't they? 1 second. I mentioned this to someone the other week, and I'm sure we had one last year at the beginning of January, but we don't have it over Christmas, do we? And the funny thing is, yeah, there is a in effect since 2-week winter break in effect since the 2029 season. So there's a 2-week break in winter. When is the Premier League winter break? The Premier League winter break is returning as the Prem as revealed in the full fixture list. So, God, it doesn't get to the point, does it? It talks about winter break, then it talks about freaking opening game of the season. Doesn't even say when. But there is one as a 2-week one according to this. Oh, so there we go. The 2025-26 season will be played across 33 weekends. Okay. There will be no fixtures on Boxing Day, Christmas Day, falls on a Thursday, and the bulk of midweek game, match week 18 will be played on Saturday the 27th. Okay, so no games on Boxing Day. That's weird that. I've got to have football on Boxing Day. I like my football on Boxing Day. It's proper sports day, that. According to the Premier League. So when is the winter break then? It's still not saying. Why do people beat around the bush? So longer intervals between matches were added in the. So what it is I think each team get a different 2 week. I don't think it's an entire 2 weeks. They want to cover the whole Christmas break. Longer intervals between matches were added for the holiday period between Christmas and New Year's Day, with no matches held on Christmas Eve. We know that anyway, but so I think individual teams get rests over the Christmas period, but there's still football like every day from after Boxing Day. I think should just be a World Cup every 3 years. No European internationals games. We have the European Cup to play teams in Europe. I get that to an extent, but they've got to be. At the end of the day, UEFA's got to have a Euros. They've got to have a World Cup and a Euros because it also gives chance for teams that might not be able to win the World Cup to win in an international tournament as well. I'm not, I think there should be a Euros and I think there should be a World Cup. It's the Club World Cup I don't like, and the Nations League. The Nations League is just glorified friendlies. That's all that is. Adding the Nations League to it was just absolutely ridiculous. It was just trying to make. I think what it was. People complained about friendlies and they thought, let's turn these friendlies into a little. Let's make it a little competition, and that's it. So, and now it's the Nations League. So it's just too much. Either way, there's just too much football, and we're not looking after players' welfare. In fact, I've just seen a report now about Semenyo as well. Liverpool may have taken a big advantage over other suitors in the transfer race for Antoine Semenyo due to the presence of Richard Hughes. Okay, so that was yesterday as well. But it'd be interesting to see who goes for Antoine Semenyo because I think they've talked about Arsenal maybe going for him. It wouldn't surprise me if Man City was in for him, if I'm honest. But who needs a right wing? Who needs a left winger? Who needs wingers? Arsenal might need a left wing, I'd say, more than the right. Eze could play there. We could play 10 as well, but they've got Saka and Madueke at the right, so they don't need a right winger. Certainly not. But yeah, that's pretty much the update this morning on the news. But I was going to go briefly over the international break as well. Like I said, there have been some good performances individually from players over the course of the weeks. Florian Wirtz wasn't as good as it was the other day last night. I thought Norman maybe deserved a draw in the end, but again, he could have had a couple of assists on his cards if players could finish the chances. I'm not worried about Florian Wirtz one bit because I don't think he's playing as bad as what people want to make out because he's at 120 million, 116 million pounds. People want to put a price tag on him, and he hasn't got any goals or assists. But assists only happen if the player puts the ball in net. Goals only happen if they get the ball in the correct spaces. I think he's probably had 2 good chances this season, Florian Wirtz. One, he should have definitely scored. But like I said, I'm not worried about Florian Wirtz. I'm not worried about any of these players. What I focus on fully is the system and the tactics in order to get the best out of these players. These players are absolutely sensational. Do I think it'll work? Do I think Ancelotti will do that and I'll get the best out of them? Absolutely. Absolutely. But hopefully we do see it starting on Sunday against Manchester United. But a big issue for me is what we've already spoken about in the stream is Gravenberch. I think he could be the key to getting us best out of this system, best out of these tactics. But if he's injured, then it's not good. It's not good at all. But yeah, thank you for watching this morning. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have a great day, guys. Enjoy the rest of the international break. We've got, was it one more day left? Well, today for the European ones, I think there's some early games in the morning in Consasaf. Yeah, but so it's today and tonight in early hours in the morning, last internationals, and then we're back into club football this week. So this week we're going to be doing back at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And in fact, we've got a new schedule now. So Mondays and Tuesdays, I'll be hosting morning shows at 9 o'clock. Well, hopefully 9 o'clock or 9:30. Around this time, 9:30. But I won't be doing evening shows unless someone else hosts an evening show that evening. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock evening shows, unless someone does a morning show. Someone else does a morning show. And at the weekend, it would be either morning or evening, depending what my plans are for that weekend. And obviously the game with Liverpool playing, obviously 4:30 on Sunday. It'd be either watch along for the game or it'd be a match reaction for the game afterwards. But yeah, thank you for watching this morning. Hope you have a great rest of the day, whether you